this comes out of a comment I got online yesterday. When you put stuff out online, people offer all sorts of comments, and they're comments that are worthy of consideration because whether we agree or disagree, they bring up questions. And this one brought up this question: is it our job to save other people? And I want to start out just by saying, like, again, you have to understand what saving means. That's a starting point. And we all have very different definitions of that. I do believe in heaven. I believe in all that, and I like the word healing more. Some people see salvation more within a context, saving people from hell, et cetera, et cetera. So, with that being said, and that being kind of the background, I want to share this comment with you folks, and then I want to talk about it because I think these comments are they're important ways to just understand. Yeah, let's have a conversation about it. This was the comment I got over a recent selection we did over the two great commandments. This person wrote, "Stop. What Jesus said was the most important of the commandments is if you should love God with all your mind and spirit, then love others like you love yourself. If you love God, you will obey his commandments. If you love others, you will advise them to leave their sins, which lead to death, as you want them to find life, which is only in God, instead of leaving them to perish." So there's some interesting perspectives in that, and I wanted to address that. And again, you're more than welcome to leave your thoughts in the comment section as well. So a couple of things that strike me about that. One is it's clear what the two great commandments are. Well, the Lord your God, love your neighbor. Like, we're all in agreement on that. And then the passage goes on to say, that our job is to love the Lord our God and love our neighbor, and everything else kind of hangs on that. Then the second part of it is like, all right, so where does that leave room when somebody's doing something wrong? Like, am I to address it, not address it? And the person who wrote that comment actually has a grain of truth there. Like, of course, there are those situations where we need to say something. Anybody who's gone through parenting knows that you can't really be a very effective parent if you believe your job is just to love your kids and never offer any form of correction. Good parenting always has three phases: guidance, nurture, and limits. It's got those three together. And I think as well, we need to be super careful. So this would be my caution. This would be the comment I would make. One is, absolutely, there are times where we want to address the loving thing. Excuse me, I should back up. The loving thing to do is to address wrongdoing, is to draw someone's attention to it. And this can be in ways big and ways small. It could be like, hey, you know what? When you say that, I notice other people are having this reaction. You might want to rethink that, as well as big things like, I think you're drinking an awful lot, or I've noticed that you're angry all the time, and I'm getting worried about how you're interacting with your wife, your kids, your husband, and your kids. There are times where we can say that, but I think we have to be super careful, because I would really, this is my personal theological take. People can see it differently. I really struggle with the idea that we would ever be responsible for someone else's salvation. Salvation from a Christian New Church perspective, it means heaven. It means that place where we can get to in life, where love for God, love for other people is the primary love that sorts out all things. We live into that. We live into a life of service. That becomes living into heaven, both here and there. And, we do that by shunning evils as sins, repenting and all that. In other words, getting rid of the bad stuff so that the good stuff can be there. I think all that is very, very, very true. I would be very worried if someone thought that their job was to save me. And I would be very worried if someone else thought that my job was to save them. I think it all comes down to not a selfish way, but what all comes down to, we're self-employed, that we really do get to make our particular religious, spiritual decisions. And that's what God grants us. I mean, God's whole gig is this freedom thing, freedom according to reason, that we're to be able to wrestle with these things, figure out what works best, figure out the best ways to serve, come from that love and wisdom and discernment, but that we each have a unique love, a very unique love. We're the only ones with this particular form of love that we have. We have people who are in the same neighborhood all the time, right? But our particular slice is our particular slice. And that means that, be so careful about the idea that our job is to save other people. Anne Lamott has a beautiful quote, which I love. Many of you have heard me say this quote. If you've been around New Church Live for years, you've heard this quote said many times, which is Anne Lamott was talking about lighthouses. And she said, no lighthouse saved anyone running around a beach. I think that's really accurate. That idea that we're not to be like constantly running around trying to figure things out and save over here and then save over here and then do over here and do over here, all those things. That's not it. But we're to really try to get our lives very centered, very grounded, very clear on where God is, from a humble way, where God is calling us. Like, what's the love that He's calling us to humbly? What's the service that He's calling us to humbly? What's the particular wisdom that He's given us with insights on a particular situation? Do that humbly. I think that's what we're talking about here. So is it our job to save other people? No, I don't think it is. Is it our job to save other people? Yes, in the sense that we're all in this together, and sometimes we can have a perspective that can help someone on their journey, but that we need to be so gentle and super sensitive about it. So, friends, I guess the takeaway today would be, just it's a simple reminder, right? That and this is the advantage of having the idea of an all-knowing, all-loving God, is no matter who the person is in your life that is troubled, if there is something through a process of discernment you feel like you really should share, that'd be important for them to see, you're smart, you'll figure out whether to tell them or not. And regardless, just remember, your job in the end is not to save them. Your job is to walk with them. What does that look like to walk with someone? How does that work? Those are the kinds of questions to think about. And because that whole idea, like, it's interesting, right? Love the Lord your God, love your neighbor. And the comment went on to say very accurately, and Jesus says, if you love me, you'll do my commandments. Well, it's a circular part there, right? Because Jesus also just said the two greatest commandments: love the Lord, love your God. So again, the way we do that, coming right back to first things first, then all the law and the prophets are properly ordered. So I hope that makes sense, dear friends, and I hope you feel free to leave a comment. It was great getting that comment, and it's food for thought for us to consider and wrestle with and think about in this great thing we call life. So with that, dear friends, right now we're going to take a breath, ring the prayer bell, do a little meditation, do a prayer, do a blessing, and then we'll hop onto social media and see if people have any other things they would like to share. So with that, dear friends, let's get a little breath. A meditation. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, a quick little hello to folks who are joining us online. See how everybody is doing. Again, I hope you're doing wonderful. We sure are over at this side of things. All right, one comment there. Marcus, good morning to you. I hope you're doing well this morning, buddy. And hopping over here. Some more comments over here. Linda, good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Tina writes, great message, Chuck. Thank you. Have a good day. And you're welcome, Tina. It is one of those interesting ones. Like I really find it so powerful, the idea that what we're doing is we're walking with people. That's really kind of it, and that entails conversation and entails perspective, but it doesn't entail a lot of scolding, I don't think. So there's your thought for today. So God bless, dear friends. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.